Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Mike Benitez. Today we're going to do another ship battle video of a ship that sank in 1945. This ship was called the MV Wilhelm Gustloff. Let's get on with the story, shall we? The Wilhelm Gustloff was supposed to be named Adolf Hitler, but was renamed Wilhelm Gustloff. Here we see her being built at Bochum and Voss, Hamburg, Germany. The ship was built from 1936 to 1937. Here we see the ship being launched on May 5th, 1937. And here we see her amongst completion. The Gustloff was the pride of the KDF line, the German company at the time. She was the flagship of the company until spring of 1939, when the war began. At that time, she was converted into a hospital ship and named Lazaret Schiff D, which means hospital ship D in German. She would stay at this post for a couple more months. She was usually a floating hospital for many of the sick and wounded. She would mostly stay in port or go to other countries for German allied countries to help out with the casualties. She would also carry the sick and wounded back to Germany. She was a hospital ship until 1940, where she was turned into a floating barracks, where submariners were trained on her to become successful men on U-boats. So there she sat until 1945. The ship right behind her here is the Cape Arconia, which played the Titanic in the 1943 propaganda film Titanic. However, because of the last days of Nazi Germany, the Wilhelm Gustloff was called into action. In 1945, Nazi Germany was on its last legs. People needed to be evacuated. It was then decided that the Wilhelm Gustloff would be one of those ships participating in Operation Hannibal, where she would sail people of the civilians to via the Baltic Sea to other places. It was during this trip that she lost her life. At 12:30 on January 30th, 1945. The ship departed Danzig to cross the Baltic Sea. On board her were 173 crew, 918 officers, 373 female naval auxiliary helpers, 163 wounded soldiers, 8,956 civilians, and 4 captains. For most of them on board, this would be the last time they would see land, because 9 hours later they will be met with tragedy. The Gustloff was supposed to be escorted along with another ship, a passenger liner, the Hansa, but one torpedo boat in the Hansa had to back out, which leave only the Gustloff and a torpedo boat low. 7 hours after she left port, she was spotted by the Soviet submarine S-13 under the command of Alexander Marinescu. He ordered to dive and gave the order to fire 4 torpedoes. Only 3 hit the ship. The first torpedo hit the ship in the bow section, trapping crew members down below. The second torpedo hit where the women's area where the drain pool was, which was used to house all of the 373 female naval auxiliary helpers. Only 3 women survived the sinking. The third torpedo hit the engine room, which caused an entire blackout of the ship. The ship began to sink bow first into the water. She was listing badly to port. Many people were killed in the 3 explosions. The 4th torpedo missed. If it had missed, the ship would have sank quicker, and many more lives would have been lost. on the rapidly sinking ship. Chaos was just beginning. People were being killed by being trampled over, or they were thrown into the icy Baltic waters as the ship went down. The ship, all four captains would later survive the disaster, but for many down below, they didn't even have a chance. Only 9 lifeboats were launched in the sinking. The rest were frozen to their davits. Many lifeboats fell loose and crushed many passengers. The remaining lifeboats overturned and dumped helpless people into the water. The ship, after 30 minutes after the three torpedo explosions, the ship fell onto her port side, trapping many on the promenade decks. It is said that during the sinking, many people didn't even know where they were going. They either died in the water or were trapped inside the ship. 40 minutes after the 3 torpedoes struck, the Gustloff went down. Out of the 10,600 aboard the ship, there were only there were 9,600 casualties. In the trial following the sinking, there was only one of the 4 captains that survived was held to blame. The others were free of guilty. But as all know, the ship remains the worst maritime tragedy in history. The disaster was so bad that it's worse than the Titanic, Lusitania, and the USS Arizona and Pearl Harbor disasters. Their casualties multiplied by 3 could not match the Wilhelm Gustloff's casualty count. A German film was made in 2008 called Die Gustloff, or in English, Ship of No Return, the Last Voyage of the Gustloff. Many books have been made about the ship, but it has been forgotten, even though it was so tragic. She is now just a mangled wreck. I shall end this video of this picture. This is the last known picture of the Gustloff. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please pay respect for the Gustloff. Please let not her be forgotten. Thank you for enjoying this video. This is Michael Benitez signing out on the story of the German liner Wilhelm Gustloff.